we are at the International Reading Association Conference with author Steven Layne. Hi, Steven.
Hey, Caitlin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Okay, well, let's talk about your books for a little bit, if we could. Could you give me a quick rundown of maybe the latest ones, like Love the Baby?
Well, Love the Baby is illustrated by Art Hoyt, and it's certainly one of my favorites. It works really well as a read aloud for young children. My own kids, as well as kids in schools that I visit, frequently ask for it again and again, and I hear from teachers often that they're hearing, "Read it again, teacher, read it again." That quality of universality that little kids look for. They've either experienced that feeling of watching the new baby come home and kind of dethroning them, if you will, is something that either kids have felt or they've seen it happen before, and I think that makes it a favorite with little kids.
Great, and can you tell me a little bit about your young adult books?
Well, my newest is Mergers. It was inspired by a visit to a middle school where I witnessed an act of racial intolerance. And it's really looking at a society, somewhat futuristic, that has eliminated all of the physical and historical characteristics of race. So the people don't know this, but their DNA has been genetically merged, crafting a society of people who basically look identical. Their skin is the same color, their eyes are the same shape, the eyes are the same color. They don't know the word race, and they don't know that the society that we know so well here today ever existed, and the government intends to keep it that way. And it follows the story of 4 teenagers who are born into that world, and they don't look like everyone else. And it begs the question how far the government would be willing to go to keep a very sinister secret from their society. This Side of Paradise, my earlier young adult novel, has been the most award-winning book that I've written. It's a utopian society story, very much with a cautionary ending, looking at issues of perfection and how far someone might go. If the question were posed, how far would you be willing to go to have the perfect family? And in the case of the Barrett family, Dad gets kind of involved, making a deal with the devil, so to speak, before realizing that something's going to have to be done with the family he already has if he wants a perfect one. And I have a sequel to that book that's underway right now, and hopefully will be coming out in February of 2010 at the latest, and that will be called Paradise Lost.
Talking about books that are upcoming, I know you've got another one coming out with Art Hoyt.
Yes.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
In September, Art Hoyt, who illustrated Love the Baby, he and I have the book Teacher's Night Before Halloween coming. Anybody who's ever worked in elementary school and lived through Halloween, as I did, is going to love this book. And the illustrations only add to the humor of the story. When I first saw them, I was in a hotel in North Dakota, and someone sent security to my hotel room because I was howling with laughter at the depictions of life for school teachers during those Halloween days. So we're looking forward to seeing that out in September.
Great. And you've got about 15 books with Pelican now, including both formats of the young adult. And I know you've been teaching for years. How did you get started in writing the books?
You know, I worked in elementary school for years as a teacher, and also in junior high, and enjoyed being with kids. And I think when you use text with kids a lot and you see how much children really enjoy story, the idea just crossed my mind, hey, I think I could do that. I think I could write something that maybe kids would enjoy. And one thing led to another, and one book led to another, and I think the idea of providing something for kids that will outlive me and outlast me is appealing to me.
And in addition to continuing your work, teaching of course, I know that you do school visits and you do conferences for teachers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I travel in and outside the country, around the U.S., doing a lot of that kind of work. Having taught at so many grade levels, I think the rapport with junior high school and high school kids as well as elementary is strong. And writing for so many different audiences, I think sometimes I'm invited to do in-service work or convention work because people maybe feel they can kind of get a 2-for-1. Here's this professor of literacy who's trained and has a doctorate in that field and yet also writes for children but also writes for young adults. So maybe we bring him in and he can do a little bit of everything and maybe meet the needs of a lot of different people.
That's great. And do you have conferences coming up where people could see you Should they check your website?
My website calendar needs to be updated, quite frankly, but we'll be getting updated here in a few weeks, and that's probably the best way to find out where I'll be.
And that's www.stevelayne.com?
stevelayne.com, Layne.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks so much for being with us, Steve.
You're welcome. Take care.
Okay.